You trying to learn JavaScript? Well, I'm working on JavaScript myself as well. In this video, we're going to be talking about conditional operators. I'm fairly new to this. I'm currently about to start a boot camp and I've been self-teaching myself programming. So all these things are just my experience and my way of reprogramming these things into my head and learning. If you can't teach it to somebody, then you don't know it yourself. So that's what I'm doing here. Everything I'm telling you is I'm back checking, and I'm also going through this course right now. I'm going through a Udemy course called it's called JavaScript Programming Zero to Hero. It's by Jonas. I'll put it up here somewhere on the screen. But it's by this guy on Udemy. He has amazing reviews, and honestly, I'm loving it. I'm like 5 hours into the course, and I'm loving it. But you could get that on Udemy. It's not sponsored or anything, but yeah, that's just what I'm doing to teach myself JavaScript and full stack at the moment. So we're right here on Replit. For those of you who don't know what Replit is, it's essentially where you can run your code and see it in the console at the same time. So last video I used a web page, but I just found it a little bit more convenient to use this, so that's what we're doing in this video. So if you're not familiar with Replit, what you do is you make an account. If you'd like to add me, I think you can on this. I'm not sure, but here's my tag, Will Swinson, and you'll just go to home. And if you haven't created anything, you just create. And for our scenario, we're just gonna type in JavaScript. And from what I've noticed is I've been going with I think Node.js. Yeah, so you'll click Node.js and it'll take you to this screen, and essentially it'll open up a new JavaScript. So that way, like let's say you type in, here's a variable equals 21, console. It should say 21 over here. 21. See? So this is so that way whenever you're programming something, you can take a look at it and debug it all at the same time. So we're going to be doing a coding challenge with conditional operators. So also along with this guy's course is every so often he'll have you do a coding challenge. So that's what I'm referring to with these coding challenges. So he has this nice cool template and we're on number 4. So I'm just going to read it over and then we're going to start getting into it. So Stephen wants to build a very simple tip calculator for whenever he goes eating in a restaurant. In his country, it's usual to tip 15% if the bill value is between $50 and $300, I'm assuming, or whatever the price is. If the value is different, the tip is 20%. So if the value is not in between 50 or 300 bucks, then it's 20%, which makes sense, Which I don't know if who's eating for, if you go over $400 it should be 20%, but I don't know who's eating $400 worth of food. Calculate the tip depending on the bill value. Create a variable called tip for this. It's not allowed to use an if-else statement, so that's why we're using this conditional operator expression. If it's easier for you, you can start with an if-else statement and then try to convert it to a ternary operator. Or he's referring it to a ternary? I don't know how to say that word, honestly. Print a string to the console containing the bill value, the tip, and the final value. Bill plus tip example. The bill was 275, the tip was 41.25, and the total value is 316.25. So here's the test data, and here's a couple hints. We'll try not to look at those. Yeah. So yeah, we'll just pretend we're not looking at those. So we're gonna get into it. So first off, this conditional operator is essentially looks something like this. Like age is greater than 21 question mark. That's that. Whatever happens after this will happen. So console.log age is 21. It's gonna do a string, and then we're gonna put a colon. What that is gonna do is essentially create your else portion. Else, if they're not 21, we can do console.log get the fuck out of the club. then if we, so we're gonna have to obviously give age a value, which we can do right here. We'll just say it's 21. We'll do equal to too, because if you're 21, you can obviously get nickel off. So this should give back age. Age is 21. Okay. And then if this is 20, should give back GTFO the club. Cool. So that's essentially what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be using this information right here. So I'm going to put this on my other monitor so that way I can take a good look at it and work through this with you guys. So first off, calculate the tip depending on the bill value. So we're going to first use this bill of 275. So constant bill value equals 275, and we're just doing this so that way it makes it a little bit easier. So instead of using the numbers, we could just put bill value, and that way if we need to change it, we can. So I think we should put let here in case it needs to change. Actually no, we'll just do this because if we need to change it, we could just put it here. So, and then okay, so this is how I'm going to do it. At the end of this, I'm going to fact check this and tell you exactly if I did it right or not. Like I said, I'm learning in the process, guys. I hope that, one, I motivate you guys and show you that just because you suck at something, just because you're not good at it, doesn't mean you can't get good at it. So over these videos as I progress, you're going to see me get better and better and explain these things more thorough. And, you know, I'm pretty much just going to develop into a software engineer. And I hope that's what you guys aspire to do as well. So with that being said, we're going to keep continuing working this. So my methodology right here is that the bill value, he wants the bill value to hit a certain percentage once you hit a certain range. So right now the bill value is greater than or equal to 50 and the bill value is less than or equal to 300. Then that operator right there, that question mark, is going to activate our if statement. So if that part before it is true, then this next thing will happen. Then the next thing will be bill value. We'll put it in parentheses. Bill value times, because we need to get the tip percentage, which is, if it's within the 50 to 300 range, it's going to be 15%. So that's 0.15. And else, this is that else portion. So this colon is that else portion. So then we're going to do bill value. We're going to do the same thing in this parentheses, but we're just going to do 20%. 20%. And so we're going to use a couple of these statements. So now what we have is this tip value that could equal anything depending on what this is. So let's do console.log tip value and see what that equals out to. Because if this is 275, then that means it should have a 15% tip if we did this right. So 41.25. So yeah, there, I'm gonna do a little math on the side right here. So we'll see. Let's do 275 times 0.15 is 41.25. So that's correct. So as this changes, the tip value will change. So now that we have the tip value out of the way, create a variable called tip for this. Okay, we'll just call it tip value. And so now we need to console.log. We can use a template literal, which essentially is if you use, instead of using these These single quotes, you use this little, it's like under your escape key. I forgot what it's called. It's like a little, I don't know what the name of this thing is, but it's right under your escape key. It's like this little asterisk thing. But essentially, it allows you to do this next thing that I'm about to do. So essentially, he wants us to console.log a statement saying the bill value was, and then you put this money sign, you do these squiggly lines, and you say the bill value was, and you could just put in bill value right here. And what this essentially allows you to do, doing these little asterisks, it allows you to do this instead of having to do a plus sign. You don't have to do a plus sign now. So money sign, squiggly lines, bill value, and so that's going to replace that with 275. Once you put it in the string, it goes through the console. Was 275, comma, the tip is, and then we're going to do the same thing. The tip is, and then we're going to do tip value. The tip is that, and the total for dinner, we'll just say dinner, is, and then we're going to create one more variable. And this variable is going to give us total of meal equals bill value plus tip value. And so now all we have to do is do dollar sign, squiggly lines, total of meal. And so if we did this correctly, it should come back. The bill value is 275, the tip is 41.25, and the total for the dinner is, I don't know, what is that, 320 something. So run, see what we get. The bill value is 275, the tip is 41.25, and the total for dinner is 316.25. So yeah, so now he wants us to do it for the values 40 and 430. So all we have to do is literally change this number for 40 and then see what we get now. So the value was 40, the tip is $8, and the total for dinner is $48. So 40 times 0.2 is $8. Just to confirm, make sure our program, our code is working right. And he also wants us to do 430. I don't know if it's supposed to be 15% for 430. He just said between 50 and 30 or $300. So to calculate 20% of value. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we wanted to, we could just, have the value. We could change a couple things, but this 15% right there. So that's how that works. But yeah, this is essentially this whole part right here. Bill value is greater than or equal to 50, and the bill value is less than or equal to 300. If the bill value, if that's true, then the bill value is multiplied by 15%, and then you get that total. Else, it's going to be 20%. So essentially all we're focusing on is this one line of code right here. That's the whole purpose of this. So instead of having to do if else, we just do that little one code. And the cool thing about this is, since this is an expression, you can literally, like I just did right here, you can assign this all to a variable. And as you can see, instead of having to type a whole bunch of if else stuff, I just put tip value and then boom, there it is. And so what's the cool thing too is you can do this. You can copy this and paste it right there. And even though it is, since it's an expression, you could put it in the temporate literal. So as you see, it's going to be giving me the same thing, whether I do it like that or I do it like this. So yeah, I'm going to fact check some stuff real quick, make sure that's how you do it, and then we're going to wrap the video up. All right, what's up, guys? So, yeah, everything's correct. So, a couple things that I noticed that I did wrong was I forgot to put semicolon. So, every time you finish a line of code, it's good practice just put the semicolon from my understanding. And also, you could just completely just take this out and you could just, instead of total meal having a whole variable, you could just do bill value plus. So, you can write expressions in here like I showed you before. And then you could just do tip value. God, I can't type. And then it should just give back the same thing. 516 like it was before. So yeah, those are the only two things that I noticed that I personally on that problem messed up on or could have done a little bit better. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you're wanting to join a group, you're just getting started with programming, then I would love to see you guys in my Discord. Love to talk to you. Love to learn some things from you because I know everybody's got a different perspective on this. And you probably might be learning different programming languages. It's okay if you're not just learning JavaScript or if you're learning something else. Love to hear from you. Love to see you in the Discord. Please join and get in there and start talking about some things with us. On another note, if you're interested in some PC builds, I do that. So I like to do that as a hobby. It's my fun thing to do. If you're interested, there's a link in the description down below. Fill out the form and we can get something working. On another note, I also do a nonprofit where I do give PCs away to kids. But in order to do that, I need donations and things. So anytime somebody donates parts or money, I put that towards that and I put something together and I give it to a kid because if anybody knows, gaming is fun, amazing, cool, and especially personally myself as a kid, if I didn't have gaming, then I would probably be a lot angrier person. Just to say that. Also, I want to thank you guys for watching. Honestly, I'm currently transitioning out of the military, and it's scary and fun and cool all at the same time. And these videos they help me get through it and give me a little bit more confidence, and I appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. And I hope that I see you guys in the next one. Peace.